The stage lights were blinding. Liam pulled at the hem of his shirt, ensuring the high collar stayed in place. He could not risk the patch slipping. He could not risk anything at all. He had believed the routine was secure, a well-rehearsed mask, until the floating digital comments flickered at the edge of his vision. "Look at that waist, it's insane." Another scrolled past. "The air feels electric tonight. Something's off with the guys." He forced his breathing to stay even. In the sanctuary of the green room, the door locked, his composure shattered. His fingers trembled as he reached for the edge of the neutralizer patch on the back of his neck. It should have been invisible, a standard-issue square of synthetic skin. But it was saturated, glowing a faint, telltale coral under the fluorescent light. Liam stared at his reflection, a weary frustration settling in his bones. The patch was a constant presence, a necessary lie that irritated his skin. The gland beneath was inflamed, swollen like a ripe, amber-hued plum. He swallowed a wave of nausea, peeling the old patch away with a grimace. He smoothed a fresh one into place, its cool adhesive a temporary relief. No one would suspect this room had just housed a zenith. At 6 feet tall, with a lean, athletic build and sharp, defined features, he fit the expected mold of an alpha perfectly. In this world, zeniths were rare, precious, usually sequestered in private estates. They were luxuries, not public figures. Most, sheltered and physically limited, never grew so tall. To be a complete zenith, moving openly in a 5-member alpha group called Chimera, was supposed to be impossible. The group's entire brand was built on it. 5 confirmed alphas, bonded by decade-long contracts signed after their differentiation results came in. It was a solid plan, until Liam's 18th birthday. The diagnosis: Zenith. That same week, his older brother vanished, leaving behind a crushing $500,000 CR debt. Their parents were gone. The contract penalty was identical to the debt amount. Trapped, Liam bought his first box of suppressor patches. He learned to live behind them. His teammates largely kept their distance, which suited him. Living next door was Arthur, whose striking beauty held a sharp, almost cruel edge. He was old money, a trust fund kid from a political dynasty playing at being an idol. Across the hall was the captain, Kale, whose background was a mystery the internet loved to dissect. He'd once dominated a national tactical shooting competition, fueling endless speculation about military ties. The others all came from similar spheres of influence. Liam, by contrast, had nothing. His manager once said his average guy persona was marketable, approachable. It had, inexplicably, attracted a fervent, peculiar fan base. Still, it was better than nothing. His life was manageable, except for the incidents. Alphas had cyclical hormonal surges. Modern suppressants usually managed them, but housing 5 high-grade alphas in one training complex sometimes created a volatile feedback loop. The manager tried scheduling around it, but biology was stubborn. The protocol was isolation for the affected member. Liam, for his own reasons, had always avoided being present during these events. Some, like Kale, had never had a public incident. Kale was discipline personified, dark-haired, intense, his shirts always impeccably fastened. Paragon of control. His fans claimed he was engineered for performance. He was also one of the few who had never triggered a group surge, which was why the current situation made no sense. That same model of restraint now had Liam pinned against a supply closet wall, the air thick with a heady, compelling scent. Kale's voice was a strained murmur near his ear. "The time suppressant is wearing off. It won't be long." He paused, his breathing uneven. "No one will check in here." Liam glanced at the black, king card-shaped inhibitor ring around Kale's throat. It was still active, a small light pulsing steadily. He felt a flicker of confusion, not yet fear. Kale was always so collected. Liam rose on his toes, pressing a hand to the other man's forehead. The skin was scorching. He drew back. "You're burning up. I'll get the medic." Kale's hand closed over his wrist. The grip was startling, the heat unnatural. Tense cords of muscle stood out along his forearm, a contrast to the calm, almost detached look in his dark eyes. Liam started to speak. "Kale, you need to." A large hand cradled the back of his neck, pulling him forward. The kiss was sudden, overwhelming, a clash of heat and forced restraint that shattered Liam's thoughts. He emerged from the closet minutes later, his expression carefully schooled into neutrality. The man by the mirrors turned. It was Leo, rarely seen in the communal areas, dressed in a fitted black crewneck that outlined his powerful frame. "You okay?" Leo asked, his tone flat. "Fine," Liam muttered, focusing on fixing his collar in the glass. The reflection showed a man with a guarded, closed-off demeanor. Leo watched him for a moment, then stepped closer. His fingers brushed the sensitive skin behind Liam's ear. A jolt shot through Liam. He jerked away, his heart hammering. "What are you doing?" "Nothing," Leo said, but his gaze had cooled, intent. "Just thought I saw some irritation back there." "A mark? You have one?" Liam's hand flew to his neck. He couldn't feel anything through the patch. "Mind your own business." The words came out more panicked than he intended. He pushed past Leo, retreating into a bathroom stall. He leaned against the door, breath coming in short gasps. 2 close encounters in succession. His own biology was teetering on the edge of rebellion. With shaking hands, he pulled a vial and an injector from his pocket, administering a second dose of suppressant into his arm. Not now. He couldn't afford a flaw. He waited, eyes shut, until the artificial clarity washed over him, damping down the inner storm. 10 minutes to curtain. He exited the stall, not noticing the familiar layout of the dressing area, the stylized A on a case in the corner. The sound of polished boots echoed softly from the hallway. A low, amused voice carried on the air. "Now where did you scurry off to?" His manager, Janet, spotted him first. "I said no wandering. We go on in 5, you understand?" Her words were sharp. "My apologies, Janet," Liam said, keeping his eyes down. Her severity lessened slightly, but she wasn't finished. Just then, Ethan, the youngest member, slipped between them, draping an arm around Liam's shoulders with a sunny smile. "Janet, he gets it. Besides, we're still missing people." Ethan's youthful charm worked. Janet's stern expression finally relaxed. "Just be on time. You don't have the leeway Arthur or Leo do. The public watches you like a hawk." For a reason Liam didn't catch, Ethan's smile tightened briefly. "I understand." "Thank you," Liam said. All right, Ethan chimed, squeezing Liam's arm. "The real issue is finding Brother Arthur and Brother Leo." Janet's frown returned. It was true. With minutes to spare, 2 key members were absent. Though she admitted to herself those 2 were rarely where they were supposed to be, and yet never failed a performance. As the stage lights began their final cycle, 2 sets of footsteps approached. The steadier belonged to Leo, his walk purposeful and clean. The other was lighter, almost playful. "Arthur." Janet exhaled in relief. Liam looked through the strobing lights at his late-arriving teammates. Arthur was smiling, a diamond stud glinting in his blonde hair. But the sparkle was nothing compared to the face itself. A face that had broken records, a work of art hailed as unparalleled. If the others were masterful portraits, Arthur was the priceless, one-of-a-kind gemstone. A magazine or once told Liam he possessed an ultimate adaptability, a blank canvas. "What you lack," the oar had said, "is exactly what Arthur has in abundance, raw magnetism. Honestly, you live more like a reserved beta than a true alpha." Liam had sighed at that. The oar didn't understand. He was living with a mountain of debt, while the least expensive sports car in Arthur's collection was worth more than that debt. It was easier to keep his distance. The countdown glowed overhead. Liam filled his lungs. This stage was his anchor. The new single, produced by a legend, was a visual and auditory spectacle. For this, he'd trained relentlessly for months, surviving on discipline alone. Fans commented on his weight loss, pleading with him to eat. They didn't know what was at stake. On stage, the barrage flickered before him. Is he trying to kill us dressing like that? That high collar is a crime. The youth is unworthy, but dares to admire. Liam pressed his lips together at the flood of suggestive text. He frowned. He's thinking of me. You're all pathetic. Unlike Michael, who gets to be with him day after year. A flicker of something bitter rose in him. Kale. Mr. Perfect. The music swelled, a storm of strings. The core sequence began, Chimera's signature, impossible to replicate. The arena shook with screams. Liam settled into his stance, one hand poised at his hip. He turned his head, his gaze meeting dark, focused eyes across the stage. Arthur dipped his head, the scent of exclusive cologne whispering past. He murmured, "My apologies in advance." Since that magazine talk, Liam had been thinking. He'd been taught to fear his own nature. There was no public curriculum for zeniths, no guidance on existing in the world. They were secrets, symbols, destined only for private lives. He didn't want that. He knew the feeling of freedom, of speaking his mind. He'd chosen to stay in Chimera, and his first act was to bury the truth. He trained twice as hard to compensate for a zenith's inherent physical disadvantages, pushing his altered muscles through routines until dawn, while his teammates had energy for skydiving and polo. He persevered, clinging to the dream of the stage he'd signed up for at 13. But it wasn't enough. Janet had summoned him recently. Her office overlooked the city. "There's no room for dead weight on my roster," she stated, a female beta who'd fought for her position. "If not for your marketability, you'd be gone. You have 10 days to show me a definitive result. Or you leave." His communicator had buzzed with a debt reminder. Trainee pay was a pittance. "I'll work harder," he'd promised. "I don't want effort. I want impact." Ethan had found him afterward. "Brother Liam, what's wrong?" Janet looked serious. When Liam stayed silent, Ethan added thoughtfully, "It must be about the stage chemistry. Janet thinks our interactions lack tension. You have to let go." Lack of tension. The phrase haunted him. Was his instinct to protect himself making him stiff, uninteresting on stage? Alphas knew how to project allure, enhanced by their natural pheromones. Even betas used scent enhancers. Liam began to wonder, what if he were just a normal zenith? How would he express himself? Would he allow a hint of his natural scent to surface? The research his parents, both specialists in zenith biology, had left behind was mostly confiscated. Public knowledge was sparse. Zenith scent could attract alphas with a variable compatibility rate. High compatibility meant powerful, sometimes immediate bonds. Low compatibility could cause aversion. He assumed his low rapport with the team indicated the latter. Releasing a trace on stage to enhance his performance. It should be safe. Now, with Arthur's hand on his waist, he gave a slight nod. The music pulsed. This was the moment fans craved, the one where he'd often been called wooden. Today, he focused inward, drawing a single, cautious thread of essence from the gland beneath his patch, letting it weave through his movements. The stiffness melted away, replaced by a fluid grace he didn't recognize. He became unaware of the shifting focus around him. Arthur straightened, his gaze turning predatory. Liam was lost in the new, liberating sensation. The barrage exploded. Why does he seem different tonight? He's glowing. I'm not just staring at his physique anymore. Did you see the others? They look stunned. A concerning comment flashed. Has Kale's eye color changed? It's reddish. Eye discoloration and respiratory shift are precursors to a surge. But they're all alphas, it shouldn't matter. The word surge cut through Liam's focus. He remembered the closet. He tried to pull the essence back. But the king card ring on Arthur's neck suddenly glitched, its light stuttering. Arthur moved closer, his irises shimmering with a faint, cerulean light. Trying to hide? The largest entertainment forum, Starnet, lit up. Thread, Heard there was an incident with that group you all hype. Replies piled in. Which one? You know which? Group C. Half the members had a public hormonal surge on stage. That's a major accident. Their reputation is solid, otherwise they'd be done. The stage was actually fire, though. The tension between Arthur and Liam was next level. Fans are arguing. Something happened. Aren't you curious why all of them surged? Smells like a story. In the conference room of Skyward Entertainment, Janet slammed a tablet onto the table. Explain. She turned to the line of impassive alphas. Kale. As captain, you've never had an incident. What was today? Kale's voice was even. My apologies, Janet. I don't want apologies. Do you know the damage? She whirled on Ethan, who was idly tracing patterns on Liam's palm. Ethan, you've never surged before either. What happened? Ethan looked up, his eyes holding a drowsy, intoxicated gleam. Couldn't help it this time, Janet. Might happen again. She glared, then moved to Leo. Leo, you just had a regulated cycle. If your inhibitors are insufficient, I will have you injected into a coma. Understood. As for Arthur, Janet hesitated. He was untouchable. She glanced at Liam instead. At least Liam held it together. If the whole unit had collapsed, I might as retire. Ethan giggled, leaning into Liam. Brother Liam is always fine, it's just that we're the weak ones. Leo stiffened. Ethan, what are you implying? Ethan's gaze turned challenging. Isn't it obvious? Strutting around in tight clothes all day, provoking people, then losing control. It's vulgar. Leo's jaw clenched. You enough. Janet snapped. Do you want this overheard? Ethan crossed his arms. I don't care. I'm not the only one with impure thoughts. Leo looked ready to retort. Janet massaged her temples. Kale, control your team. Kale, who had been silent, his eyes dark and contemplative, finally spoke. We need to go to the hospital. For what? Janet asked, confused. For blood work, Kale said simply. His gaze lifted, settling on Liam. To see if there's a zenith among us. Liam's blood ran cold. It was then that Arthur, quiet until now, let out a soft laugh. He lifted a hand, a sleek envelope pinched between his fingers. I think you're forgetting something. What's that? Janet asked. I had dinner with Director Vance last week, Arthur explained casually. He invited the group to be special guests on a show. What show? A reality competition. The judge's eye. Janet's frustration evaporated, replaced by calculation. You should have led with that. Hospital visits can wait. We need to plan outfits strategy. She hurried out, already barking orders into her headset. Once she was gone, Ethan released Liam's arm and stepped closer to Arthur. You did that on purpose. Arthur's glance slid from Liam to Kale. I think several people here are acting on purpose. Leo, half his face in shadow, spoke quietly. You're mistaken. Kale met his look with detached coolness and walked away. The show is the priority. The Judge's Eye was in its 7th season, a once popular show that had faded into mediocrity after several seasons bloated with influencers and nepotism hires. The director, seeing Arthur at a fundraiser, had seen a lifeline. Janet's quick agreement wasn't about quality. It was about mainstream exposure. It was a necessary move. Later, Arthur and Liam found themselves alone by a floor-to-ceiling window, the city lights stretching below. Thank you, Liam said quietly. For what? For nothing. Just thanks. Arthur studied him, then nodded toward the window. If you're thanking me, then do me a favor. Next time, lose the Joker card. The set of the Judge's Eye was chaotic, but the director had cleared out most of the non-essential personalities. The remaining veteran hosts gave a brief rundown. It's a physical variety show. Play hard, have fun. Watch your camera angles, pace yourselves. Task cards were drawn from a black box. Liam pulled his and read it. One of the older hosts peered over. Power clean. Good draw. It's entertainment weightlifting, not serious. Just outlast your opponent. You're an alpha, no problem. Your opponent's a beta, a ranked athlete in track. But you should still take it. Liam looked down at the card. His strength had been leaching away since he was 18. No amount of training or supplements could fully counter the biological shift. He was now lean where he was once powerful. Against a trained beta athlete, as a pure alpha, he'd win. As a zenith, it was a farce. Ethan peeked at his card. Brother, wanna trade? He'd drawn equestrian, a technical event. Liam shook his head. Weightlifting was, ironically, his best option among the skills he didn't truly possess. But a stubborn fire ignited in his chest. He was tired of being the weak link, the secret failure. He walked past Ethan, seeking a quiet corner. He found Kale in a makeshift locker area, an empty injector on the bench beside him. In his hand was a card that read marksmanship. Kale spoke without preamble, his voice low and definitive. I know what you are. We will be bonded after this program concludes. I can accept the presence of others in your sphere. It doesn't matter who. The arrogant, presumptive words hung in the air, offered like a royal decree from a superior to a subject. A hot, furious disgust washed over Liam. He yanked his jacket tighter. Kale, he said, his voice icy. Take your fantasy elsewhere. Calling an alpha a zenith? I think your suppressants are frying your brain. He walked away, his steps quick and angry, the determination to win the weightlifting event solidifying into a hard, cold resolve in his gut. He would not be defined by their assumptions. The familiar stream of digital commentary seemed to taunt him from the edges of his vision as he strode toward the competition floor.